What is up? It's Run Pure Sports. I think it's swinging for the fences. Are we swinging for the fences, DC?
We certainly are. We certainly hit a few gopher balls over the fences last night.
Good. Now, as I told you before the show started, I had Turkish coffee ice cream. It's coffee ice cream with actual Turkish coffee grinds in there. Big T's been busting my ass saying not enough energy on the open. It's fine. So how about this, Big T? It's baseball time, bitches. All right, let's do this, DC. Immediately regretting his choice to work for Run Pure Sports, being stuck with me 4 days a week. Hit the like button, subscribe to. I want to give a shout out to Redmen, not JSU, Redmen, who won over $50,000 on opening day just from watching our show and probably doing some of his own stuff. But DC, like I said, I want to shout out to you, man. Yesterday we were on the show. I went with the Glass now Alcantara pairing, but what helped me was plugging Joey Gallo into my lineup after making fun of him. You said play him, so thank you very much. I appreciate the help.
Yeah, the two Mom's Basement plays of the day, Glass now and Joey Gallo, both came through with big days, helping. I think Redmond had both of those in his lineup. JSU, obviously a big contributor here at Run Pure, shipped $200K on, I think, just $1,000 worth of entries. He had a monster night. I did well myself. I'm sure you did well, Holden.
What a jerk he is.
And I mean the Discord. I mentioned this on the preview pod this morning, but it was one of those days where it's like going 5x or 10x on your money. It wasn't enough to get enough love in the Discord because the screenshots were coming in fast and furious. So you love to see that, all the winners over at the Run Pure Sports Discord, and was a fantastic opening day. We'll look to keep it going tonight.
I got so many shout outs to give. Joey Work for picking winners on the bet side today. First 5 under 5, Baltimore, Boston, 0 runs. Thank you, Joey Work. If you are a jabroni and you're not on the bet side, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You're missing it, man. It's baseball season. My goodness. Add it, $20 a month. It's nothing. Just do the whole package for $100 enough a month. It's great. And yeah, my old buddy JSU. What do I say about JSU? First of all, congratulations, JSU. So after he hit it, I was like, you jerk. Because JSU is so good at this. It's like I'm spending all day on baseball. I do good. I mean, it was probably like a 9X night. But for him, he's like, I'll just put a lineup in here. I'll put a lineup in here. And he wins $200K. So here's all I got to say. JSU, I told you, A, you're a jerk. B, congratulations. C, get your ass on the show, dude. You won $200,000 last night. You're telling me you don't have enough time to hop on the show with me and DC? Are you kidding me? Seriously, DC, come on, plead my case here. Help me.
You should be on here with us. It's kind of part, that's part of the job. You have a big night, you get on the show. We gotta stroke you a little bit, and it's all good. But I mean, JSU, he's in the lab. He's grinding NBA. Of course, that $100 a month package gets you the NBA product too, all the bets, everything you need. Discord. We're not charging by the sport. It's an all inclusive package, and I mean. You would have paid it off and then some if you were in there for last night's MLB product. Of course, NBA has been on fire all season, PGA bets, everything you need.
150 likes, we get you a piece of swag. So that's great. We're looking forward to that. Like it, subscribe. Let's move on. And if we're lucky enough to be graced by JSU's presence during the show, all he has to do is hop on for 5 minutes. I mean, that's all I want. Actually.
What is this? Oh,
here he is. What's up, buddy?
Quick.
What's up?
My ears were ringing. I've got all the people in the chat, the RPS people. I appreciate you guys getting me going. And then Holden, of course, talking all the crap.
No, you have to come on. Even all I need is you. It's 5 minutes. We don't even need you to break down these. We don't even want you to break down these games. What happened? We're doing an NBA show. All of a sudden, some guy's saying, hey, Jace, you're going to be sweating this out. The dude wins $200K.
This is true. So I do feel a little bad because I didn't mean to go at him specifically, and I hope it didn't come across that way. But I seriously, I don't look at where I am in the standings for multiple reasons. But one, because I can't stand, the ups and downs of DFS. Yeah. Anyone who's played for big money in DFS, I mean, DC's got to know this. He's been playing for friggin' 8 years now. The highs and lows. I mean, you could be winning a ton of money, and then all of a sudden, the crazy things happen. 2 home runs late, and boom, that changed everything.
especially in baseball, like basketball, you kind of know, right? If all your dudes are going off in basketball, you can just kind of like run away with it and keep it the whole way. Baseball, it's never over, right? Like your dude can be 0 for 2 through 2 at bats. He hits 2 home runs. All of a sudden, he's in the optimal. You can jump up 1,000 spots in one at bat with the home run, and you can kind of fall that far too. So baseball is, we talk about BigT 777 getting off to the early starts in the NBA slates. Baseball, like, listen, if you get a couple home runs, your guy's going to be in the optimal. But if you don't have like the true stone nuts, you can get caught by anybody. And a lot of teams will jump you if a chalk player, hits a home run. So it's it's a sweat to the very, very end in baseball, pretty much every time.
Yeah, and that late game was going off, and I had a few guys from the late game, but like Witt hits a home run late. Carlos Santana was popular, and he had a pretty good game, and he did something at the very end. So like, you never really know where you're going to fall, and all that stuff can change things. But yeah, I mean, the lineup that I made, I had 2 lineups, by the way. So I had 2 lineups, and one of the 2 was just, it was the nuts. Like I just fell on it. And
how? Seriously, how did you? So you don't just fall on it.
No, so seriously, the way I did it, and the way everyone should use our content. First of all, I listened to the podcast with DC and Uncle T. I listened to that podcast. Then I watched the show at 11 with you guys. It was a great show with you, Title, DC, and then just all the content, the playbook, the core plays. Looked at everything. And then in my head, what I wanted to do, and I thought DC hit it perfectly when he kind of said, talking about the later games, just kind of focusing more on the later games. So what I did was I cut off every game on the slate except for those last like 3 games. So like the Colorado game, obviously, the San Diego, Arizona game, and the KC, Texas game. So like my player pool was those guys. Like it was those guys pretty much, except for my pitchers. My pitchers were Glass now, which DC was really high on talking them up, and Alcantara, who I love doing this. It's won me 6 figures this past baseball season, and it just happened to help me win yesterday. But pairing 2 pitchers from the same game together,
doing it tonight.
People don't like to do it because only one guy can get the win. And so, yeah, you lose a little upside, but man, one of them was like 6,500. The other one, in my opinion, Glass now was almost even a little underpriced at his price tag on DraftKings. So I thought I was getting 2 value pitchers at their price points, and both had upside from a strikeout standpoint. So I thought it was just a great build. And then all the hitters pretty much, they kind of just came together. Everyone knows I'm a big Ketel Marte fan.
He was awesome.
I'm a big fan of him, and he came through for me. Soler was a guy JT was really high on. Joey Gallo was a guy that DC was really high on. So I again, like, you kind of got to make the builds. Soler got me to Max Muncy, so paying up at first base, and also got me to paying up at catcher with those cheap outfielders. And Marte obviously was cheap as well. So the build just kind of fell. That's what I'm saying. Like it just kind of all fell together with a few of the guys that RPS really liked. I liked Marte a ton. I said it in the chat, actually. I said, there's no way I'm fading Marte. I said it in the chat when you guys were on the show. And then Gallo and Soler from JT. And then I just put the rest together with my pitching idea, which Big T had that in his core.
I think one critical component that I talked about on the show yesterday is like I talked about it in the Discord too. Like you don't need to go a 5-3 stack or a 4-4 stack. I think you had 3-3-2, and I'm actually a believer, especially on shorter slates like we have tonight, a 6-gamer. You don't have to full stack anything, but you do need to make sure if you're not stacking that each of your individual plays has the chance for upside, right? Power guys, speed guys in good parks. And you can mix and match those guys like Joey Gallo. You could have stacked with him, but you don't need to. That's going to be a common theme with the Rangers. He can go off all by himself. He could score 2 runs. He could have both home runs. He's in the optimal, right? And you're going to get him at low ownership because generally the players that are in the stacks have high ownership just because of that. And then they also get the one-off plays. But if you roster a slugger, a speed guy that's not in any popular stacks, then the only people that have him are people that choose to go use him as a one-off. So naturally the ownership will be kind of, wrongfully low on some of those players.
I got to ask DC a question because DC's been playing MLB baseball for a really long time and he's been successful at it. And there's this I don't know, it's like a thing with big DFS players about stacking. And yesterday I had a 3-2-2-1. That was my team. It was 3-2-2-1 with Gallo being the one. And there were people, I know for a fact there were people that were tilted that I won with this style of lineup.
Ridiculous.
And to me, I think it's crazy because in my opinion, I'm an ultimate tournament player. In my head, any way I can find a way to be unique build wise, I'm all for it. I love to be unique. And if everyone's going to do the same thing, just 5-man stack, 4 and 4, well, what's the why can't I? Why wouldn't you try and be different? If everyone's going to try and have 5 Dodgers in their lineup or 5 Colorado guys, why wouldn't you play 3 and do something different with the other spot? I don't understand the people that just think you have to stack. So maybe DC can shed some light on it because I don't get it.
Yeah, so a few things. So I think stacking has definitely risen in popularity over the years that I've been playing MLB DFS. A couple of reasons for it. People have generally realized that correlation is just a good thing in DFS in general, right? We've seen the rise of QB, wide receiver stacks with running it back with an opposing wide receiver. And I totally get that. And there is correlation that's important stacking in baseball, but the majority of the points come on home runs, on steals, kind of on those individual events. And then, like you said, the rise of optimizers, right? More and more people are using, making 150 lineups with optimizers. And you can put in rules that say, oh, I need at least 3 guys from any team that I'm going to target, or I want to use 5 guys from this team or that team. And that means a higher percentage of the teams in these tournaments are using full-on stacks. So when you use a 3-2-2-1 build like you did, you're going to be different kind of automatically. And especially on DraftKings, I think that's a very viable strategy. The more people that do something, the more you want to go the other way.
So again, JSU 200K, Redmen gets 50K. Good nights all around. Do you have anything for us today, JSU, before we let you go after gracing us with your presence?
First of all, I took the earpods out, so hopefully that'll deal with the whole clicking thing. I don't know what's going on there.
Thank you.
I have to get new earpods. Now I can get the new AirPods, whatever the new ones that are out.
They suck too.
You can finally afford them.
Yeah, I can afford them. Some Redmond was in the chat and he said, what about Asdrubal Cabrera, which was a big difference maker in my lineup because he was 2%. And when I got to that finish of my build at the very end, I noticed that I think his name Fuentes, the guy who was hitting 2 for Colorado.
Yeah, Josh Fuentes.
Yeah. So I knew he was going to be popular. He was in the most popular game. And I was just looking at it and I was trying to find someone in that same range. And I had Marte already in my lineup. So Asdrubal just kind of popped off to me because, again, he's a guy I talked about, DC says, you want someone with upside, power. So, he was the perfect guy, and I knew he was going to come at lower ownership because they were right. He was actually more expensive just by $200 than Fuentes. So I knew for a fact a lot of people in that spot were going to click Fuentes. So I went Asdrubal, had him with Marte, and that's kind of how I fell on that finish. Just an ownership thing and trying to pair him with Marte, but that's kind of how I got there.
Especially when you didn't have the full-on Rockies stack or Coors stack, right? And so when you're getting to your last guy, you don't want to pick the 2-hitter for one of the most popular teams because if that guy goes off, probably everyone else around him has a better chance of going off, and it's going to be harder to get to the top. You can go with Asdrubal, who nobody has, and it's just a huge differentiator, especially on that kind of last guy in. You don't want to choose a one-off on your last guy in from a popular stack that you don't have, basically.
JSU, do you have any plays for us tonight?
So, I mean, I'm back and forth with the NBA. Obviously, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. And then if you're not playing NBA, then just stick with the baseball content. But if you are an NBA and baseball guy, tune in for the premium show that we have. Me and Holden do it together. So make sure you tune in for that. The baseball slate, I just got my entries in and everything. So I'm ready to go. I haven't fully dove in yet. I did listen to the podcast that DC and JT did, which was great. Good stuff, good content. I want to ask DC about one guy because like these cheap pitchers, I'm wondering where you're going because you like to find these diamond in the rough guys kind of down low sometimes. And there's two guys that I want to ask you about. So
don't you say Luzardo.
No, I wasn't going to say Luzardo, actually. Giuseppe Kikuchi was one of them who I think is really interesting tonight, even though I do like pairing San Francisco against lefties, but he's 6K, and I think he does have upside at that price as a cheap player. And then Pablo Lopez. Are either of those two guys really interest me tonight, and I think they allow for you to spend up and get whatever bats you want. Which is really interesting.
Yeah, I like both guys actually. Both popular breakout picks among smart fantasy analysts in the offseason. Lopez looks like he's got a better new slider that should help him increase his strikeout upside. And Kikuchi, pretty unlucky last year, throwing harder, hitting 95, 96. He's stretched out, should be able to go 90 to 100 pitches, which you can't say for every pitcher on the slate. He's the lowest priced guy on DraftKings, which kind of shocks me. We were talking about him a little bit on the preview pod with JT. I'm surprised he's the lowest price guy. And then I'm also surprised that his projected ownership still looks kind of low. I'm guessing people will kind of gravitate toward him. I'm not going to pick on San Francisco that often. I think their offense is actually a little bit underrated, but there's no question Kikuchi 6K has upside, especially at that price point.
Yeah, he was a guy. I agree with you. I think the Giants offense is a little underrated. I thought they were a little underrated last year, and I definitely had some good success playing some of those bats, especially the righty lefties when I got their righty power bats against the lefties because they did really well last year. And we saw it a little bit yesterday, I'm pretty sure too.
So they teed off a little bit against Marco Gonzalez, who, if you look at the surface numbers from last year, both these guys throw from the left side, and it's Gonzalez who had the much, quote unquote, better season. Kikuchi clearly the more talented between the two of them. There's no question in my mind. He's got much better stuff. So I think Kikuchi is the better pitcher, just straight up. And given that price discount, and maybe people will be a little bit afraid to go to him after the Giants roughed up Marco. Maybe that has something to do with the lower projected ownership. I'm not sure.
I think it's also because last year he was very erratic. He walked a lot of guys. Yeah. I think that scares a ton of people. But I also think in tournaments, that's going to keep his ownership down to a point where he does have upside, right?
He does, no question. Yep.
At that price point, he does have upside. And the same thing I think with Pablo Lopez, who just looks way too cheap to me as well. Yep. At 7K. I think he's another really interesting play. So I got two lineups on DraftKings again. I wouldn't be shocked if you see me pair, maybe two pitchers from the same game in one, and maybe those two together in one to get some of these higher price bats. So there's two routes that I might be going down today.
Love it.
All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
Gracing us with our presence. As one person in the chat said, pound for pound, the best DFS player in the world. I would counter with centimeter for centimeter, the best DFS player in the world, no doubt about it. For those of you that are on Twitter and you saw me kind of treat JSU like shit, calling him a jerk, saying congrats. Basically, there's nobody that gives him more shit. Well, at least at Run Pure. Big T, number one, me, number two. And it's not a day for me if JSU doesn't tell me to F off. So congratulations, JSU. Love you, man. I'll catch you today, 6:15 Eastern for our premium NBA show, the final countdown.
Thank you, boys. Have a good show, guys. Get
Free
all
Reggie.
the winners.
Free Reggie.
Free Reggie.
Yep. Hit JSU up on Twitter. Congratulate him and use the hashtag Free Reggie because he is castrating his dog, and that is not a good thing. DC, do you have a dog?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Did you snip him?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. JSU didn't have to,
No.
but he decided to succumb to pressure from his woman. So that's what's happening. You also said the basement play of the day. I mean, are you living in your grandma's basement or something? What's going on?
Mom's basement. Yeah.
You live in your mom's basement. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that, dude.
No, yeah. Free rent, free bagel bites.
Yeah,
what more do you ask for?
All right, let's go. Let's get into this. We'll start with the pitchers. Hey, like and subscribe, people. 150, you get some swag. 300 likes, you get some swag. And subscribe to our channel, too. There's great stuff on here. Top shelf, creme de la creme. I'm just going to say Blake Snell, Trevor Bauer at the top before anybody else.
Yeah.
How much exposure to these two guys will you have tonight? And who do you prefer? I mean, we got Bauer out here in Colorado against the Rockies, and Snell takes on an Arizona team.
So I think the proper strategy tonight, JSU is obviously just on talking about spending down at starting pitcher. I agree with him wholeheartedly in that approach for the most part. I have more interest in Snell than I do Bauer. Bauer, a relatively easy fade for me going into Coors Field. I talked yesterday. I had no interest in Clayton Kershaw, right? Playing some guys against him. Certainly the Rockies had a pretty good day offensively. They were helped by some poor defensive efforts by the Dodgers, but I don't think Bauer's really going to find success here either. Another beautiful day to hit here in Coors Field in Colorado. And Bauer, another guy like Kershaw, who does rely pretty heavily on those big breaking balls. He's got both a curveball and a slider that he utilizes combined maybe 50% of the time. Both of those pitches won't have the same movement. So there'll be a lot of fastballs. And one thing, that I'm looking at from a macro perspective here, MLB saying they're going to crack down on the use of sticky substances on the ball. Trevor Bauer basically said, last year that, everyone else is using these, I'm going to use them. If you look at the spin rate on all of his pitches, they jumped way over career norms. Their spin rate is something that stabilizes pretty quickly. So it's going to be very interesting. We'll know tomorrow when we get the StatCast data, whether or not he's took that warning to heart and it's okay, I can't use this anymore. So if he's not, that's going to hurt him as well. We'll see. I think it's kind of 50-50 whether he's going to be back using that sticky substance in this start. But regardless, he gives up a lot of home runs. He gave up a ton of home runs in spring training. He always kind of has. Ball's going to be flying in Coors Field. We saw yesterday just a ton of home runs around the league despite the cold weather in most of the country. So I don't like Bauer here. I'm seeing projected between 20 and 30% ownership. That's way too high for me. So no interest in Bauer. Snell, I'm willing to pay for Snell 9,700 on DraftKings. The big problem with Snell last year was the short leash that the Rays gave him. Rarely went more than 5 innings. I think it's been a year and a half since he's pitched 6 full innings, which is just pretty astonishing for a recent Cy Young winner. But I think the Padres will probably kind of let him go and take the training wheels off a little bit with Snell. So he's more interesting. Arizona obviously had a pretty good performance last night. Got to Yu Darvish. Snell's fine. I just don't know if he's worth paying for. I think I can get similar production lower down on the starting pitcher's salary range. And I do want to get some of these big Coors Field bats back in my lineup. So maybe a little bit of Snell, absolutely no Bauer in my lineups, and I'll kind of build from there.
There's a whole bagel bite thing going on in the chat. Now is not the time to tell the story, but I do expect you to tell the story sooner than later. Second of all, Brandon McNair has way too much time on his hands. He goes, if you break down every MLB game by salary, JSU made more than every player except for Trout and Lindor yesterday.
I can believe that.
Slacker. This guy didn't even take BP. Just looks at stuff and he plugs it in. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's continue. See, I think Snell's going to be the chalk. And then
I agree.
And then Pablo Lopez, as you go down, you guys talking about him. Probably the second highest owned guy. Can we eliminate anybody from your pool here before we just dive into the pitchers?
Yeah.
Yarbrough, an opener last year. How long are they going to let him go as a full-time starter now? Luzardo, little concerned about how deep he goes into a game too. So who are we counting out?
So for me, Bauer's just not in consideration whatsoever. He's off. Dallas Keuchel, 8.7K, just not enough upside. Pretty good Angels lineup that makes contact. I can't see paying that price point for him. I do have interest in Yarbrough. We can talk about him a little bit. Luzardo, no. I think Houston's going to have a big bounce back season offensively. I really like their lineup. Jordan Alvarez looked fantastic last night. He can hit lefties. I'm just not seeing many holes in that Houston, especially like top 6 or 7 of that Houston lineup. So no real interest in Luzardo. Cueto, no. I mean, he's just too old, doesn't have that much left, right? And then Senzatella against the Dodgers, absolutely not. Andrew Haney, I guess you could make the case for, but won't be in my lineup. So that's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 guys, I guess, that we can kind of take off the list entirely.
All right, just completely take off the list. So tell me a little bit about Yarbrough here in this matchup against really a Miami offense that people are way too high on, in my estimation. Nice spring, got to the playoffs last year, but this is still a very young lineup. My concern here again, how much did they stretch him out during spring, and how much can we expect out of him today?
So he should be good to go. His last start, I think it was 6 or 7 days ago, went 5 full innings. I think he got 6 strikeouts through, I think, close to 80 pitches. So
okay, then that's good.
Yeah, he'll be up, I think, around 90 if things are going well. Problem is, I mean, we saw even with Glasnow, I think he only threw 76 pitches and he was just absolutely dominant. They couldn't touch him and he still got a quick hook. So that makes me a little bit nervous about Yarbrough. I do think people are going to see that price point for him, especially on DraftKings where he's 8.3K and be hesitant to pay that. You look at the Miami lineup, 7 of the 8 guys do swing from the right side, and Yarbrough, a lefty himself. That will cause some people concern, but Yarbrough, not a guy with big splits. He throws his changeup, which is the most effective pitch against opposite-handed hitters for most pitchers, 30% of the time. So that's a really good pitch. He should fare just fine, I think, against this Miami lineup. And I'm just not afraid of this lineup. Yarbrough, a very, very different type of pitcher from Glasnow. So you can't really take too much from Glasnow's domination. But, I mean, there's just not that many. There's a bunch of okay hitters here, but there's no one you fear really at all in the entire thing. So I think Yarbrough will do his thing. He was good last year, and I think still a very underrated guy in general. So I do like him, especially on FanDuel. He's 6,800. I think he's the second cheapest starting pitcher tonight. I got a lot of interest in him over there.
And don't forget last year, and there's always turnover, but the Marlins struck out 10.1 times per 9. So they like to strike out. And I think his K prop's only 4.5.
Give me the over. Guys. I was going to bring that up specifically.
Yeah, so let's
over
talk about this. And I think it's a broader conversation too, DC. I think, we look at game lines, and you can do it that way. You got to look at K props. And Vegas is not right. Listen, Vegas doesn't say 4.5 Ks. That's how many of this guy is getting. Vegas sets a line and says, we think that you'll bet both sides of this and we'll profit off of this. So, with that being said, he's only got 4.5. What does that tell you, if anything?
I guess, maybe a slight concern about how long he's going to go into the game, but he's a very efficient pitcher. I'm taking the over on that. I was going to, bring that up on Monkey Knife Fight. He's got a 4.5K prop. I like the over. I like the over, just straight up betting it, of course, as well. I'm in on Yarbrough. You will see him on a bunch of my teams. I think on Super Draft, you can get him. He's, we talked about Glasnow and Maida yesterday. Maida ended up being not super great, but he was a hell of a lot better than some guys like Castillo and Flaherty. But yeah, he's a 1.9x your fantasy points over at Super Draft, so I'll be using him there. Yarbrough, will be among my highest owned pitchers. Usually, you only probably playing 3 or 4 different guys tonight. Okay. You'll typically see that for me, where I have a very tight pool of pitchers, and then depending on the slate, I'll kind of spread out stacks and hitters and otherwise. But I do have a lot of confidence in Yarbrough to pitch well here.
Okay, very good. I like it. Anybody else that we haven't talked about? Lopez. I don't know how much we got into Lopez.
Yeah, I like Lopez for sure too.
Okay,
both these guys from the same game. Lopez, I do expect to have a breakout season. He looks good.
What about here's my concern with Haney. Okay. And he's 7.6 on DK. And again, I'll say this every day. I only play DK. I don't screw with FanDuel. I can't stand FanDuel. He's a fly ball pitcher going against a team that hits a lot of home runs. That's got me off of him. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Lopez, that is?
I'm talking Haney.
Oh, Haney. Yeah, no, I'm not on Haney. Yeah, you're right. A fly ball heavy pitcher could benefit a little bit. cold weather, not cold, but cooler weather on the West Coast where the ball doesn't typically travel well at night anyway. I think that will be kind of compounded. I mean, this is, I think, like 55 degrees, something like that for this Angels game, which is about as cold as you're going to get in LA during the baseball season. So that will help him, but too much power from the White Sox, especially from the right side. Abreu, Luis Robert, Grandal's got power. Tim Anderson, like they just got a pretty strong lineup, even without Eloy Jimenez, who they lost for the year. So I'm off Heaney, but he is a good strikeout pitcher, which is kind of that's what gives you the upside in DFS, right? So I get playing him, but you won't find him in my lineups. And then the last pitcher that I think is worth talking about is Christian Javier, starting for the Astros. I haven't really liked him, and my personal metrics don't think he's super great. He's a very, very unique pitcher. Talked about it on the pod, but he's got like the highest average launch angle against of any starter in baseball, meaning he gets a ton of infield pop-ups, gives up a ton of fly balls. The thing is, though, in Oakland tonight, it's a really tough park to hit home runs in anyway. And obviously kind of the cooler West Coast weather is out there too. I think you're going to have to really launch one in the Coliseum to get it over the fence. And for a guy that gets so many fly balls, I think it could be tough for the A's to kind of get to him. It could be a lot of easy kind of cans of corn. You got the huge amount of infield foul ground, right? So kind of all these infield pop-ups, infield fly balls that he gets, I think a lot of them could turn into easy outs. He just pounds the top of the zone with a lot of fastballs. He could, his big thing is he's going to give up a lot of home runs over the course of the year, but it's going to be really hard to hit home runs tonight. So I'm not sure that's going to bite him. So he is interesting to me too. I think he's 6,500 on DK. Not a pitcher I love in general, but I kind of think this is a decent spot to use him if you want to go in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had a 25% K rate last year.
Exactly. So
good.
Gets Ks and fly balls, which could work. That's a recipe for success in this stadium.
Yeah. He did have a 5% home run rate, but big deal. I mean, again, this is a small rate, and I think DC just laid it out pretty plain. So real quick before we move on to position players, the pool that we have now, you're going to throw Javier and Yarbrough in there.
Yep.
Who's the other two?
Kikuchi, who we talked about kind of in depth with JSU. And then Pablo Lopez.
Okay.
And then in some builds, if you can find cheap guys that you like, again, we don't even have most of these lineups yet.
Yeah.
But I am willing to spend on Blake Snell if kind of my build takes me there, right? If I'm putting in hitters first and going for like a value type lineup and Snell fits, I have no problem using him. I do have Snell projected over those other pitchers in terms of raw fantasy points. I just think the optimal build to try to win a lineup doesn't include paying up for Snell.
I heard DC talk about Super Draft. It's pretty cool. New partnership is what we got with them, and use the promo code RUNPURE. You'll get a matching deposit up to $100. Throw $100 in there, match it. Might go with that Yarbrough thing. We might do a little Yarbrough prop here coming up in a little bit. So there's that. You guys did hit the 150 on the likes, so congratulations. One of you is getting swag. And then I guess the next number is 250 or 225. DC, what kind of a nice
hey, this is the swing for the fences show. We'll keep it at 250.
Woo, 250. DC is not messing around.
We're giving out the gold here. They can give it a like.
Yeah, Steve, I am not putting a Brewers thing back here. I'm sorry, dude. First of all, it wasn't on clearance at the poster store. So that's the first reason why. Second reason why I got no connection. I grew up a Mets fan. Then I went to high school in Chicago, and then this was like $1.99 because Buster Posey's on it. And Bryce Harper's still in a Nationals uniform. So that's the reason why. Okay, let's get back to the games. Let's get to the hitters. All right, the boring position, catcher. Will Smith played a lot yesterday after Barnes went down.
Yeah.
You got him top shelf 5.2 on DraftKings. Posey hit a home run. I wonder what your thoughts on Posey are. And then is there anybody else you would actually consider? Maybe Tom Murphy and Luis Campusano, because you want to pay nothing for your catcher.
Yeah. Yesterday we talked about how bad the catcher pool was I think we had a 10-game slate yesterday, maybe 6-gamer tonight. I think the catcher pool is actually much better tonight than it was last night. So starting at the top, $5,200 for a catcher is a lot to pay, but I really believe Will Smith is a borderline elite hitter. Austin Barnes went down yesterday, like you mentioned. It looks like he'll be okay, but for tonight, Smith will be in there almost certainly. Senzatella guy, definitely want to pick on with Dodger bats. I do prefer lefties in general, but we're talking about the catcher position, and Will Smith clearly has a lot more upside than anybody else available here. So yeah, Will Smith, if you can afford him, if you can get up to him, I don't know if I would like make him a complete priority, so to say, but yeah, I think he's a strong play. Going down further, Posey is definitely a guy to watch. If you look at the last few seasons, his power has disappeared, but I think at the end of 2018, he got like hip surgery, which it was kind of, just from being a catcher, right? You just kind of wear down. And in 2019, he was recovering from that, didn't have any power, opted out last year. So it's been a while since we've seen a good Buster Posey, but I went yard in his first game. He's always crushed lefties. He's a guy to watch, and I don't mind taking a shot on him here against Kikuchi in a lineup that doesn't have Kikuchi himself. I do think there are some decent cheap options. Max Stassi hit an impressive home run yesterday. He's got power. Carson Kelly, again, don't want to pick on Blake Snell, but it's catcher, and he's 2,800, another guy with some power. And then, again, I do like Ryan Yarbrough a lot, but if you're going all the way down, Jorge Alfaro stole a base yesterday. He's one of those kind of premium athlete catchers. He's got power and speed, can do some damage. If you want to save 2,400 for Alfaro, I think a pretty good play as well. Yeah,
you want to go all the way down to Camposano, 2.2. I mean, he's in a nice lineup. Again, if you're punting, just go punt. That's how I look at it. Like,
sure,
you could get a home run from these guys. Absolutely. Let's see if Camposano, first of all, is in there. And second of all, where he's probably going to be hitting down in the order, but there might be an RBI opportunity for him at somewhere. Okay. That's nice. I like the breakdown. Buster, I almost just want to roster Buster Posey after seeing him back yesterday. That's a stupid reason to do so, but he is going up against a lefty. I know you guys are on Kikuchi.
He's a good play tonight. No question.
Play. Yeah. I like him. Oh, by the way, DC you're doing both podcasts now, right? NBA and MLB?
No, so it's just all MLB now.
All so one big one. Okay.
I'm kind of fully into the MLB streets. We got plenty of guys for NBA. So yeah.
Apple and Google Play. Check it out. NBA First Look Podcast, Major League Baseball First Look Podcast every morning, DC and a guest. Okay. Yep. So that's wonderful. We love it. What?
It's a great one to listen to too. I mean, I just kind of have time there to talk about kind of the resources that I'm using, the stats I'm looking at, all the different websites where you can find information. So especially if you're kind of just want to learn more about the process of dissecting player performances, it's a great thing to check out. So I think it'll really help people kind of learn a lot. And of course, talking about picks and all that stuff as well along the way.
Joey Work wants to go on your baseball pod. I highly recommend.
He's welcome anytime.
Yeah. Invite him. Joey Work, just hit him up, dude. If you Draftcheat on Twitter, just hit him up. It's not going to be much. Why don't I just marry Posey? Get out of here, Nape. Why don't I just marry? What are you, 2? What are you, 5? Yes, Alex, I did jump off the Mets bandwagon. It was 2008, off their second collapse. Grew up a big-time Mets fan. I was at 3 of the 4 games at Shea Stadium in 86, including the Bill Buckner game, which I fell asleep and then was woke up a couple batters for that. Anyways, I said I'm never rooting for this team again unless the Wilpons sell because he's the worst owner in the history of the world. He finally sold, and now I'm embedding in DFS. So I really can't root for anybody, to be honest with you. There's just no chance of doing that. I don't root for anybody anymore.
You root for your players.
What's that?
You root for the players you rostered and the
that night. Yeah. And whoever I'm betting on. Like today, I just rooted against every single hitter in the Red Sox-Orioles game because Joey Work said, hey, bet the under. So I did it. Add the bet side, $20 a month. It's wonderful. Joey Work's back. It's baseball season. It's so much fun. Next, we got first base tonight. This is juicy, dude. You know what? Instead of going through all of these guys, give me somebody at the top, in the middle, and in the bottom because I'm already telling you who I'm locking in tonight. It's Wilmer Flores, 3.7K, going up against the lefty. I know it's Big T's guy too. I'm taking Wilmer Flores. I got 3 lineups tonight. He's in at least 1 or 2. That's my guy.
Yeah, if you want to ride with Holden, and I haven't even talked to BigT today, but I guarantee you,
he's in the
be having some. He'll be having some Wilmer Flores in there. There's no question. Yeah. So at the top, some really good options. Muncy is the top guy for me, but Jose Abreu against the fly ball pitcher Andrew Heaney could easily hit a couple home runs in this game. So he's strong. Muncy, my guy though, up there, he really is. He's the guy I'm prioritizing. I think you can play him at first or second base over at FanDuel. So just a fantastic play across the slate. You're going to see me list a lot of Dodgers as we go throughout the slate. There's just no question that they're the top plays. I know they were, I guess, relatively disappointing yesterday, partly because they lost a home run. When did you see that? Justin Turner didn't realize it was.
Oh, don't even start, because at the end of the night, when I could have had some more points from Bellinger, I didn't. Yeah. And then that didn't work out too well.
That wasn't great.
Justin Turner, great guy. Just want to say this. I mean, he's a wonderful human being. Horrible mistake. Totally screwed a lot of us out of money yesterday.
Yeah, is what it is. If you want to get really, was it?
You handled this much better than me. I give him
a pass. Justin Turner's been good to me in the past, so it's all good. Matt Olson is a guy that can handle the high fastballs that Javier throws up there and does have the power to get it out of the Oakland Coliseum. So if you want to get contrarian, I think he's okay. I know you mentioned not to talk about all these guys, but here we are. I'll join you on the Wilmer Flores train. I think he is a good way to go. Cheap guys, not a ton. I'll take Christian Walker against Blake Snell. I do like to get kind of a one-off against the chalkiest pitchers of the day if I'm not using that pitcher himself. Christian Walker, I think, along with Ketel Marte, the two guys that have the best chance to take Snell deep.
Uncle T in the chat, put Joey on a baseball pod with me and DC. Terry, you had a chance to do a podcast, a great podcast with me and G Risen. I think Rubio Dimes wanted to do it. And then you had 4 girls basketball games to call. So I personally think you're a little too busy for that. DC and Joey Work would be a great show. You know what? You should also throw G Risen in there. Sorry, Uncle T. Girls basketball comes first, I guess. No, called 4. Yeah, only 4, right? That was 4 days that you couldn't do the podcast, buddy. Sorry, Uncle T.
He was the first guest on the MLB version of the first look. So he's already been an honored guest. He's welcome anytime.
Oh God. DC, come on. Can you at least play along for the show? Just be like, yeah, Uncle T, screw you, get out of here.
I'm not coming after my man, Uncle T. That's I'm sorry. You want me to come after Big T? More than willing to do it, Uncle T.
Yeah. Big T deserves it.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah. I think we might get to this 250 like deal. So we're at 209. We might have 2 things of swag to give out today. We got 500 watching. Just hit the like and maybe you'll be a winner today. That'll be nice. Redman, I'm not going back to rooting for the Mets. I know you won 50K yesterday. I'm not doing it, dude. I'm done. I can't root for teams. The only team I can root for is Kansas basketball and football. Our basketball program is probably going to get the death penalty. So I'll have nothing to be happy about. That's it. Don't you thank DC, Terry, just because he was Uncle T, just because he was on your side. Give me a break. I think you really meant it. Okay, enough talking to myself. Anything else at first base you want to do? Get used to this, DC. It's going to be 4 days a week, buddy. It's all over the place.
It's all good, man. I love it.
All right, thank you.
Last guy I want to mention, I don't even know if he's going to be in the lineup. If he is, Andrew Vaughn, the Chicago White Sox rookie, first base outfield eligible. He is stone minimum price on DraftKings. I expect pretty good things from him. So another guy you could punt with at first.
Okay. We're done with that, right? There's a whole bunch of chatter here in the chat that it's not your grandma's basement where you live, that it was a Bagel Bite story. Will you share the Bagel Bite story with me? Because I think it's a Bagel Bite story of the day or the pick of the day. And I don't know what it means.
I think that the two stories are somewhat intertwined. I think some people like to come after me a little bit on Twitter for whatever reason. They don't enjoy my snark over there. And I think someone, for a while, my Twitter handle, this was a few years ago, was the Hothead Weasel. Someone said, you're just a hothead weasel who lives in his mom's basement. And I kind of just ran with that one. So then it was like an ongoing joke that I live in my mom's basement.
Yeah.
And then some
so
people
you don't?
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought you really did. Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe someday. We'll see if I can, get some DFS scores going here.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, some people were saying, tweeting me about eating bagel bites down there. There's some memes that came out, so just kind of ran with it. I'm all about making fun of old DC here. So okay. I did enjoy Bagel Bites as a kid. They've gone downhill. I'll say that. I like had to try them again after all these years. After it became a thing. Not as good as I remember. I don't know if my taste buds have evolved, but I remember them being a delicious snack.
No.
These days, not so great. Not so
like
great.
Crackers. No one wants to eat crackers. Makes your mouth dry.
I think they were good when I was a kid. Maybe they got taken over by a new company or something. But
I mean, you probably ate dirt when you were a kid too, and you don't remember.
Could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Bagel Bites are disgusting. I'm with you. So like and subscribe. That's great. That's what I got to find some reading points here. There's so many that Simon put on here. Let's go with Monkey Knife Fight this time.
There we go.
Run Pure's the code. Matching deposit up to $50. DC was talking about hitting that Yarbrough prop. So get in there. We got a dedicated Discord channel to it, and everything will be better after that. Okay.
A couple things I like on Monkey Knife Fight.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer under 8.5 strikeouts. Yarbrough over 4.5. Senzatella fewer than 3.5. Those are my three favorite strikeout props on Monkey Knife Fight and betting in general.
Senzatella just throwing ground balls all day.
No,
and then
giving up home runs all day, I think.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm definitely going to hit the Yarbrough one then. We're good on that. Over 4.5, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I wrote 8.5 down. This is turning into a nice long show, and I don't care. I'm having a good time. Let's do second base. Altuve back at the top of the lineup. Boy, this almost makes me just want to go back to Ketel Marte down at the bottom at 3.3, even though he's facing Snell. I like him against the left-hander. So before we get into the names, how many second basemen are in your pool tonight that we should talk about?
It's pretty small pool. I think you could make the case for 3 or 4 guys.
Okay.
Ketel Marte, who you just mentioned, near the top of my list, still very cheap on DraftKings. We were all over him at Run Pier at 2.7K in kind of a similarly tough matchup, right? He had to face Darvish yesterday. Now he's got to go against Blake Snell, but he can do it. Big bounce back season for Ketel Marte. Talked about it yesterday. Obviously, going to stay on that train after he went 4 for 5 with the home run. Swings well from the right side. Love him against Snell. You can use him at outfield or second base in just 3.3K. Other guys, I assume if Gavin Lux is in there, he was in there yesterday. They actually sat AJ Pollock, which nobody saw coming. Possible Lux gets a seat today. We'll see. But if he is in there, 4.1K for him. Pretty good play. It's tough to find anything else that I'm super in love with. Those are the 2 guys that I'm taking the hardest look at. Just scrolling down here a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to use Josh Rojas left versus left, although I do like him a little bit in general. I do think a bounce back season is in store for Jose Altuve, but I'm worried about this park for him. Obviously, he's shorter than JSU, so he doesn't have a ton of.
Did you? That was masterful, DC. That was just
thrown in the little barbs,
Oh, it was so subtle too. I like it. All right.
Yeah. But I do like him in general against lefties. I will be on him this year, I think. Not tonight though, at 5.6K. Looking a little bit here. So yeah, Wilmer Flores, first base, second base. Obviously you can play him here. And then I think we got the Rockies lineup. If so, Ryan McMahon. Yeah, hitting 6th against Trevor Bauer. I do like these Rockies guys. I think they're going to get to Bauer tonight. So Ryan McMahon, a guy you can use.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about them in particular then. Okay. So we have here we go. Right. Tapia. God, this lineup is just not what we were used to.
It's not
Tapia,
great.
Fuentes, Story, 1, 2, 3, Blackman, Crone, McMahon, Owings, Dom Nunez, a catcher, and then Senzatella on the mound. So let's just go broader view here on the Rockies lineup. You think that they could get to Bauer? Who's viable from this lineup? Just top to bottom. Tapia, Fuentes, Story, Blackman, Crone, McMahon, Owings.
Yeah, most of these guys are viable.
Okay.
I do generally prefer lefties against Bauer, but their best hitters, Story and Crone, swing from the right side, which is a little bit of a problem. But Blackman, McMahon, Tapia, kind of the 3 guys that you can get a little bit cheaper. McMahon, probably my favorite play overall, once you consider the price, position scarcity. He's got power for sure from the left side. Wasn't in the lineup yesterday against the lefty, but in there today, hitting sixth. I do like him quite a bit.
Okay. I think we got to hurry up a little bit because we got the Wood Show at basketball. So we'll get going on this. Second base is done. Third base is next. Bregman, total badass, going up against Luzardo. Questionable situation with hitting environment. Maybe people back off of Machado because of yesterday. I hope they do. Or maybe I hope they don't. I don't care. Evan Longoria against Kikuchi. I'm just the right-handers against Kikuchi tonight. I know you're on them, but they at least have to be in consideration. And the other guy that I'm looking at, and you got McMahon, you can play him second or third on DraftKings.
Yep.
The other guy, did I say Moncada?
I like Moncada a lot. I was going to mention him for sure.
Yeah, Moncada. Start with Moncada then, because he's like a middling price at 4.8. You can go all the way down to 2.3, but he kind of stands out to me. Yeah.
If you look at last year's results for Moncada, you got to throw them out. Had COVID the whole year. He's talked about how much it affected him. He just didn't feel well. So he's going to be the same Moncada you saw in 2019, which was a very dynamic player. Great matchup against Heaney. Moncada's got big boy power. Definitely like him. Kyle Seager, that 4.7K price tag on DK is not appealing. The matchup with Johnny Cueto definitely is. He'll be in there hitting third tonight, I'm sure. Justin Turner, you really can't go wrong playing such a good hitter in Coors Field against a shitty pitching staff and a shitty starter like Senzatella. So he's solid. But yeah, looks like a spend up position to me. I think McMahon probably the lowest I would go at 3.6K. I don't see much below him. Fuentes, I guess, is fine at 3K, hitting second in that Colorado lineup. But yeah, mostly spending here, I think.
Okay. Spending. Boom. Anybody else? We're just moving to shortstop.
Yeah, that'll do it. Kind of those 4 or 5 guys there.
Beautiful. So Tatis, another one, a little disappointing yesterday. Corey Seager, my MVP pick for National League. That's at the top of things. Maybe even Tim Anderson. Do we have to spend up or do you think we're in the direction of spending up at shortstop, or can we find guys a little bit farther down? Because outside of Story at 5, I mean, it's almost like Story's as low as I'm going to go if I'm not stacking. Who's down there below Story? Adames, Crawford, Iglesias, Rojas.
Not much. Chris Taylor would be the guy on DraftKings. You can play him at 4.5K if he's in the lineup. But this was another one where I do want to spend, and we're talking. I wanted to spend at third base. I want to spend at shortstop. We're going to get to outfield where I want to spend, and that's why when we open the show, I think the proper strategy, at least in tournaments, is to spend down a little bit of pitching and get some of these stud hitters into your lineup. Not to bury the lead, but Corey Seager is the guy that I want tonight. He's a priority to me. 5,800 on DraftKings. You got to pay for him. Was just okay yesterday, but I'm telling you, he's just completely locked in. Matchup literally could not be any better against Senzatella, who really struggles against lefties. It's Coors Field. It's Corey Seager. Get him in your lineup. I think he's going to have a huge game here.
Okay. Now we move on to the outfield position. Woo! There's so much going on here. I need to ask you about the White Sox. I'm on the White Sox tonight.
Yeah, I like it.
You do like it. Okay.
Yep.
I'm on the White Sox tonight. I think Luis Robert has got to be in play too. But let's do the spend ups. First of all, Bellinger and Coors, the chalk, right? Either him or Betts.
It should be Bellinger over Betts here as the chalk. He's my priority. I do like Mike Trout. I don't love picking on Keuchel in general. I don't think mentioned any Angels so far, but Trout just kills sinkers. He kills low fastballs, which is all Keuchel throws. So I think Trout in particular has a pretty good chance at sending one of those over the center field wall. But yeah, Bellinger to me, decently ahead of Mookie Betts. I do like both guys, of course.
Okay. Keep going down. I'm responding to Mangone, who hopped in the chat. When he's on, he never responds. I respond to him.
Yeah,
so I'll just say that.
Got to. You're a man of the people over there.
I got tennis elbow dipstick.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'll tell him.
Other guys that we're looking at, Luis Robert. You said you like the White Sox. I think Luis Robert probably hitting like 7th, which is weird, but even so, whatever. It's fine. He hits one over the wall. You're happy he's in your lineup. Charlie Blackmon, a guy that I'm not super high on this year in general, but I do like this matchup for him. So he's a good play. And then maybe the mom's basement play of the day here. Yordan Alvarez. I talked about him. I think in the Discord yesterday. He's back. Missed all of last year basically with knee injuries. He hit 2 bombs yesterday. One off the very top of the wall. One to dead center that was caught a couple feet short of the track. That second one was lefty versus lefty, which is the critical component here because he's going to be very low owned. People are going to see Jesus Luzardo. They know he's a top prospect. They don't want to play the left-handed Alvarez against the left-handed Luzardo. Alvarez can hit lefties just fine. I've talked about the difficulty perhaps of hitting a home run in Oakland. Doesn't matter too much for Alvarez, who has as much power as anyone in baseball. So 5,100, I think you'll get him at pretty low ownership because people are going to want to play Trout, Bellinger, Betts, Robert, Blackman, all priced just above him. Alvarez, I think, going yard tonight.
Okay. Are we going way down low? Or are we just not even bothering?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through now. Looking at
why?
notes.
So Haniger popped last night because he's hitting leadoff. Do we want to bother with Mitch Haniger at 3.1? In all seriousness, and if you wanted to go Ketel Marte in the outfield, I guess you could do that. He's second base eligible. But do we want to mess with Haniger?
He's fine. I have no problem if you want to play Haniger, if you need the savings. I do prefer Ketel Marte there, especially getting the leverage against what we anticipate will be pretty high Blake Snell ownership. So I don't anticipate playing Haniger because in that spot, any spot I would play Haniger, I'd probably just play Ketel Marte in general. But yeah, he's a fine play for sure.
Okay. We got the Dodgers lineup: Betts, Seager, Turner, Bellinger, Muncy, Smith, Pollock, Lux. So Lux is back in the lineup today.
Okay. Yeah. So Chris Taylor takes a seat, which further kind of gets me back on the Corey Seager train.
Okay. Are we done with outfield? I mean, hey, Adam Eaton coming back hitting a home run last night. I don't know if it's great against Haney, but
yeah, I wouldn't go to him lefty on lefty
here. That's it. I mean, I'm not really trying to save too much money then in the outfield today.
Yeah, I don't see a ton either. Rockies guys, Tapia. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He's
Hilliard
fine.
in there?
No, he's sitting, which is weird.
Oh, he's sitting, so screw it. I don't have him either now. Yeah, that was my.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, very good. So here's the deal. I guess we figured out that DC is the mom's basement play of the day.
I think so.
This is going to be a horrible idea throwing this out to the chat, but I don't give a damn. If you want to come up with my play of the day, all means throw it out there. Yep. Also, you're 2 likes shy of getting more swag. So not only do you get to come up with the nickname, 250 likes, you get the swag. It's beautiful. I'm excited about it. Hopefully you guys had a great time watching the show today. So let's do this, DC. What is it again? It's the mom's basement play of the day.
Yesterday, I got to give a hitter and a pitcher. So I'll run that back after going 2 for 2 yesterday.
Ooh.
I'm going with Ryan Yarbrough. So for sure on FanDuel, I think he's the best value. DraftKings, I don't necessarily think he's the top value, but I think his ownership is going to be so low that he's going to be my pitcher, mom's basement play of the day. And then also kind of in a similar vein there, I think you're going to see such low ownership on Yordan Alvarez that he's going to be the top kind of leverage play, and I'm calling a home run for him tonight. So I'm going Ryan Yarbrough and Yordan Alvarez as the mom's basement plays of the day.
Oh, boy. Okay.
What'd you get? You get some good suggestions in there?
No, Simon's typing in there something with dog poop. It's like, grow up, dude. Holden's hooker play of the day. It's not a daily thing. Yeah. Hair gel play of the day. I more use paste. Ozark play of the day. Oh, that's because you guys called me the gay fed from Ozark. Not great. No, missionary play of the day. That's what listen, missionary completely underrated. Let's just get that out there right now. It really is. Soap on a Rope, Harry Palm, Hulk Holden, I Hate Nate play of the day, Min Cash play of the day. Thank you, Nate. All right, you pick it here. The clearance poster play of the day, or what was the other one? The Min Cash play of the day.
I like the clearance poster play of the day. I like
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with sex, guys. I apologize, but it's his problem. He's the one that did it. So it should be somebody that is cheap, but I'll keep that in mind going forward. Okay. I don't have that right now. My guy is Luis Robert. I want to see him hitting second tonight. I want to see him just take a little fly ball here from Haney and deposit it over the seats. Luis Robert is going to be the poster clearance play of the day. And I know you'll be honest with me. Good play, shitty play.
Good play.
All right, cool. It's not the Holden hooker pick. I'm not doing the hooker pick. Come on, guys. It was only one time. Anyways, good stuff. Good times.
Yeah.
Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Hit the like button. Redmond won 50K yesterday. Congratulations, Redmond. That's totally awesome. Let's do it. Let's pick out a couple guys here. Oh, who is begging for something, and maybe we can give it to him. Uncle T. You think Uncle T has any stuff?
I'm sure he's got like a full basement full of stuff.
I'm giving one to Chase Simmons, who said 456 watching, 168 likes ain't enough. All right, Chase, info@runpuresports.com. info@runpuresports.com. We got another one to give out. I'm not seeing anybody right now. It's unfortunate. So the next person to type something and get in there and say shirt, you're going to get the.
What about the fine fellow that recommended the poster clearance play of the day?
Okay,
clearance poster.
Never mind. That's not it. Now it's the poster clearance play of the day. So whoever that guy was, Sam, I might have to block you. Holden's Hitler pick. What is it? No. Seriously, for a second. Screw you. Don't bring that garbage in here. We got good mojo at Run Pure Sports. We're not messing with that stuff. All right? Stick it down. Y2J did that stuff to me in chat one time. It really pissed me off. Anyways, the poster play of the day, I don't remember who did it, but he's going to win. So info@Run Pure Sports. I will pass your name on, and you will definitely get it. Whoever came up with the play of the day. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. Great show today. Thank you very much to JSU for gracing us with his presence. Yes. That was so nice. Would you like to diss anybody or say something snarky before we go?
No. Good mojo only for me.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need good mojo.
I will have the playbook up on the site, obviously, for premium subscribers, along with core plays. Hit pretty well on those yesterday. We'll keep it going again tonight and hopefully get some more screenshots up in that Discord.
Robert Flamerock, that's who did it. Info@Run Pure Sports. Robert Flamerock. I like it. If you haven't checked out the site and you're just freeloading, I mean, that's fine. You see, it's not just our guys winning, though. It's not just our experts, our analysts. It's you guys. Redmond with 50K last night. We got guys just posting up. I won 1,000 off $5. I won this. You guys are winning left and right. So you might as well check it out. It's $80 for the month, $100 if you want to do the bet side too. DC, take us out, dude. And thank you, Simon.
Yes, no, that'll do it for us. Good luck to everybody watching, to all the members. I'll be up in Discord posting plays, answering questions, and we'll get ready for what should be another fun night of baseball.
Goodbye. Keep running pure. Pure.